Relax, relax, relax your face. Relax your scalp. Relax your muscles. Breathe in, breathe out, and let everything go. How's everybody doing? Alrighty, we're here for another story time. If you were here last time, we did puppy stories. Puppy stories, puppy miracles. We did puppy miracles, and we're here to relax your minds, and relax your thoughts, and relax everything that has been on your mind these days. Just shh, 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 shh. Make way, make space for freedom, for free-flowing thoughts. Make space for peace. Okay. So, let's breathe. Always remember to breathe. And a really good tip with breathing is when you want to relax is take a deep breath, of course. And allow your exhale to be longer than your inhale. Okay, so we're gonna start. Okay, I'm gonna pick out 2 stories this time. Again, intuitively this time though. To, to just read about these miraculous puppies. And these are all real life stories actually. True inspirational stories. True inspirational stories of our lovable friends. Oh, furry friends. Yes. They're all real life stories as well. Does that sound? Because once you hear some of these stories, you're going to be like, this is true. And yes, indeed it is. Dogs, animals are just so amazing and magical. So let's start, shall we? Okay. I'm gonna intuitively choose a page and I'll let you know which page number I chose. Alrighty, what does the YouTube collective that is listening to this right now should hear? Which story should they hear? Oh, we chose perfect the beginning of a story. Amazing. And it's page 93. Who was born in 1993? Anyway, alrighty, let's start. Alrighty, are you relaxed? Let's dim those lights, relax those eyelids. Let's read about the story about a girl named Margaret. When Margaret was 16, she was involved in a serious accident in her hometown in Midwest. It had been a hot day in August, and her friend Ruthie Johnson were riding their bicycles to get an ice cream soda at the corner drugstore. Okay, are you keeping up? The corner drugstore. Margaret's faithful beagle pup, Pudge, followed in close pursuit. None of them saw the car that rode in pursuit. That roared past the stop sign. Later, witnesses would say the driver seemed to be in an alcoholic daze as he accelerated directly toward the teenagers and the puppy. Not the puppy. Just kidding. And the teenagers as well, of course. All that Margaret remembered was something hitting her side and then flying through the air. It seemed to take forever before she hit the sidewalk and rolled over on her back. Okay, so there's this girl in a car accident while she was with her friend at the drugstore and her little puppy. Okay? And it seems as if the driver was a little intoxicated. So remember, guys, we can always Uber, call a ride. Your parents won't be mad. It would be worse if you drove drunk and then something happened, you know? Don't drink and drive, kids. I think I was knocked out for a while, she said. And the next thing I remember was Ruthie kneeling beside me, crying, holding my hand. Faces of men and women bobbed up and down behind me, and I heard a lady say that she called the police and an ambulance. I knew that I must be saying something, but my voice sounded so far away that I couldn't hear what I was saying. Margaret's time in the emergency room is equally distorted in her memory. Although it felt to her as if she had broken every bone in her body and skinned every square inch of her flesh, she heard the doctor talking about a mild concussion and telling two nurses to clean up all the bloody scratches that had bits of sand and dirt in them. Margaret understood she was to spend the next 2 nights in the hospital for observation. That's when I really began to remember what had happened to me and when I started to worry about Pudge, my 11-month-old puppy. Margaret said, I had been staying with Ruthie and her folks because my parents were out of town for a few days. Later, when she lay back against the pillow in her hospital bed, she began to cry. She knew that Ruthie's folks would call her parents, and they would be as soon as possible. But Margaret really wished that they could be there right now. She really needed her mom's and dad's kind words of comfort. Can't relate. Just kidding. Shh. Shh. And Pudge. You can't miss her puppy. Her puppy. How she wished he were there with her to lick her face and be with her in the room. The hospital corridors were echoing with strange sounds, and the whole place smelled of antiseptics and medicine. Pudge, so named because he had a plump, because he had a plump little puppy. He had been such a plump little puppy, had slept on our bed every night since he was housebroken. The energetic beagle had been her faithful companion, never scolding her or contradicting her. He had listened to all of her complaints about boyfriends, teachers, and the terribly unfair rules of her parents. And when she told Pudge a secret, she would be certain that the beagle's lips were sealed. Aren't pups just so loyal? They're so loyal. Just so beautiful companions. Such beautiful companions. And I know I'm reading about puppies right now, dogs, but you know, in all honesty, all pets are just such beautiful companions. It's so amazing. You can talk to your pets about anything you would ever like if you're ever going through something. Alrighty, during the night in the hospital, Margaret was awakened by something pushing up against her feet. She sat up as far as her throbbing head would permit, and she was startled to see Pudge sleeping at her feet. Her loyal friend had found some way to get into the hospital unnoticed. Margaret was overjoyed to see him, but also concerned about what would happen if any of the nurses discovered a dog in her room. Pudge snuggled up to her face and licked her cheeks. After I hugged him for a few minutes, I told him that he had better go home before someone caught him in the hospital. Margaret said. Pudge whined and moved closer to my chest. I remember wincing at the pain from my bruised ribs. Ouch. Have you ever been in a car accident? I have, and I hope it never happens again. Just then, a nurse entered her room with a flashlight, and Pudge jumped down and ran to a shadowy corner. I decided to explain in my best adult manner that my dog had missed me so much and had been so concerned for me that he had somehow managed to get into the hospital, Margaret said. I asked her not to be angry, and perhaps I suggested some kind of person might take Pudge to the Johnsons. The nurse moved the flashlight beam all around the room. She smiled and told Margaret that she had been dreaming. She had been dreaming. Pudge wasn't really there. Oh my gosh. There was no dog in the room. She poured Margaret a fresh glass of water and said that she would return with something to help her sleep better. I concluded that tricky old Pudge had managed to beat it out of there without the nurse seeing him, Margaret said. When her parents arrived the next morning, the first thing Margaret wanted after all their hugs and kisses was to know if Pudge had gone home all right. She explained how the beagle had sneaked into the hospital in the middle of the night and had managed to escape being caught by any of the nurses on duty, so she hoped that he made it home safely. She was just dreaming, but maybe not. Let's find out. The look that passed between my parents hurt more than concussion. Wait, stop, Margaret said, concluding her story. Wait, stop. Wait, I'm crying. Dad explained that they had received the emergency call from the Johnsons at around 6 o'clock, had half and arrived back home about 3:30 a.m. I'm so sorry, guys. I had assumed this, guys. I was assuming this. I was gonna say that sometimes dogs' spirits visit us in our dreams, and by spirits I mean all spirits visit us in our dreams, guys. Deceased spirits. If you ever dream about your deceased grandma, grandpa, mother, whatever, that's their spirit reaching out to you and visiting you and talking to you. But I didn't know he had passed away. Oh my god, guys. Sorry for the cliffhanger, let me continue. They had found a trail of blood that led to the back porch, one of Pudge's favorite hiding places. It was immediately apparent to them that the car had hit Pudge as well. In his pain and confusion, he had run back home. My parents sat with Pudge, trying their best to comfort him. He had died around 4 o'clock that morning. Mom said that he gave a soft little whimper, a long sigh, and then lay still. I will always cherish a memory of his final visit to me in the hospital. A visit that my dear faithful Pudge made from doggy heaven just a half hour after his spirit left the earth. I have goosebumps again. Wow. So, I'm not gonna repeat myself, but you clearly heard what happened. But you know, the beautiful thing about this whole story is, do you see how puppies visit you? Not puppies, spirits visit you. A dog, a cat, any spirit that has passed on can and will visit you if you're open to it, especially in a dreamy like state. If you're very open and meditative about it, you will receive messages from your past loved ones, as I have researched, as I have experienced for, I'm not gonna say many years, but for various years. You know, in 2019, I started getting very into, excuse me, I started getting very into, like psychic work. I'm so sorry, I'm crying, and I started getting very into like psychic work, spirituality, you know, the third eye, the other realm, seeing into the other realm. And yeah, like spirits, you can speak to spirits. Spirits can speak to you. They can come to you, of course, you know, if you're protected and if you like are open to love and light energy only. You don't want to open yourself up to just any spirits. Of course, you want to be prepared and ready. But wow, that was very beautiful. Pudge had visited her at the hospital right when he had, I think, either 30 minutes or before or after he had passed away or something. And he will continue to be with her, and that's a very beautiful story. Wow. Anyway, guys, we're all adults here, and you know, it doesn't even matter that we're all adults and I can talk about these stories. I was like 6 years old when I bought this. Like, I'm so happy I never read most of these. And I kept this because my little 6-year-olds would be like crying, or maybe not. But now that I understand this way more, and like, you know, I can like, you know, feel it in my heart and actually understand more of like, wow, how did he visit her? It just makes so much more sense, guys, and I hope it makes sense to you as well, or at least I made it make sense. Yeah, like your past ones, whenever you dream about a past loved one, definitely is they're communicating with you, they are speaking to you, they are coming into your dreams in spirit form. Okay, so beautiful. I hope that by the end, I don't know, I might make this a series, but I actually hope I get to read each and every one of these stories because they are very beautiful. Okay, I'm actually gonna read the first one because I do recall reading the first one, of course, and it was actually pretty touching. Let me see if it was this one. Oh no, it was this one. It was the second one. If you ever should find yourself alone in sub-zero temperatures, Charlie Brown's observations. Okay. Okay, so I'm actually gonna read this one because I recall this one, and this one was pretty neat, and it actually goes and show you how dogs are very just intuitively in tune with you. Alrighty, gotta remember to put some ASMR into this, some sprinkle of ASMR. This is kind of soft-spoken, you know, ASMR, but mainly story time, a little bit of chatting, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, let me know your thoughts and opinions, and if you like this, or if you want me to make this more ASMR based. Some rose water, it feels really good and refreshing. Okay. If you should ever find yourself alone in sub-zero temperatures, Charlie Brown's observation that happiness is a warm puppy would take on a whole new meaning. Can you see where this is going? When Desmond Pemberton, 58, lay unable to move in the cold Kaimanawa Forest Park on the North Island of New Zealand, he had only his puppy, Bee, to keep him from freezing to death. Thankfully, Bee was enough. You're enough. Pemberton, wearing only a pair of polar fleece pants, a polypropylene singlet, a t-shirt, and a bush shirt, set out on Wednesday, August 8th, 2001, that's my dad's birthday, in his Suzuki four-wheel drive SUV, accompanied by Bee, his Labrador Blue Heeler mix, for a brief outing in the park. Pemberton, who was in remission from lung cancer and also suffering from emphysema, perhaps overexerted himself on the drive and collapsed at the steering wheel, sending the Suzuki and its passenger driving into a ravine. For 5 days and nights, Pemberton fell in and out of consciousness. Temperatures fell to 4 degrees below zero, and for 3 nights, icy rain fell. The only thing that kept Pemberton from freezing was Bee, his faithful companion, who snuggled up against Pemberton to keep him warm. On Monday, August 13, a forest survey helicopter spotted the crashed Suzuki SUV near Sika Lodge, about 36 miles southeast of Taupo. Upon investigating, they found the nearly dead Pemberton. At his side, in the wreckage in the ravine, was Pemberton's faithful Bee. I'm just kidding. His faithful Bee. Bee is his doggy's name, if you haven't caught on. Hello, keep up. Just kidding. I know you've been keeping up. The New Zealand Herald reported that Pemberton was frozen and unable to speak when his rescuers located him. One of the men told reporters that Pemberton was so cold that he was actually stiff and couldn't even open his mouth. Like Jack. Like from Titanic. Senior Constable Barry Shepherd added that the man was suffering from hypothermia and would almost certainly have died if he had suffered such exposure to the cold for 1 more night. Medical experts said that Pemberton had been kept alive by the warmth of his dog, who slept by his side when temperature plunged. So sweet, so sweet. At any time, Bee could have struck out on his own and probably would have reached shelter and food within 2 or 3 days. However, Bee chose to remain by his owner's side and place his master's survival above his own. Short little story, short, sweet, beautiful, heartfelt, very touching. Wow, dogs are so loyal. Love, 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 love. I will be back with, I think, more stories. Maybe I'll do one each week. How does that sound? Do you like these stories? I really do. And if you're a dog lover or animal lover or just a believer of like God, the universe, and how everything just is so connected and falls into place and is just love rooted deep within every single thing on this earth, then let me know if you like this. I probably will keep doing this because I actually enjoy this, and I might just do it for myself. But of course for you as well. And yeah, it's very, very beautiful stories. Very beautiful, 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 beautiful. Again, if you want to know where I got this book, it was at Marshall's, but that doesn't matter because obviously they're not gonna have it there anymore. I got this like almost 20 years ago, but it's a book called Puppy Miracles by Brad Stager. I'm so sorry if I pronounced that wrong, and if that's your last name. Brad Steiger and Sherry Hansen Stager. And yes, I hope you enjoyed all these beautiful, beautiful stories. So sweet. And we love our dogs, we love our companions, our pet friends. Give them a kiss for me. I love them. Tell your dog or your pets, your lizard, your snake, your hamster, your rat, that I love them so much. And have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful night. And you matter. You mean so much on this earth. And you're great. You're doing enough. You are enough. And you are everything you need to be in this exact moment. And you're perfect.